Next on America's Day at the Races, her 2019 debut was a sensational career best effort for Bluegrass Jamboree. She's back on a fast track for the first time since that performance today. On her way, chased Bluegrass Jamboree in their last start, finishing a nose behind her. Can she turn the tables in the rematch in today's feature? And Wood Memorial winner Tacitus was back at work this morning as Kentucky Derby winning trainer Belmont looks to win 2/3 of this year's Triple Crown. We'll have the latest on Tacitus coming up later in the show. Welcome to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today, and by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us. A beautiful sun shining Sunday afternoon. We have a good crowd on hand as well here in Elmont, New York, as we get set for, of course, next week, the third and final leg of the Triple Crown coming up. Greg Wolf alongside four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. In our feature race today, we talked about Bluegrass Jamboree at the top. The last time she was on a fast track, she was sensational. She gets back on the fast going today.
And she likes Belmont. That's the one key thing with her. She's 2 for 6 over it, 5 of her wins. 2 of them have come here. She brings tactical speed. She's the horse to beat in there, but I don't know if she's the horse that you really want to bet in there, because she's probably going to be odds on or right around even money.
I think it's an interesting race. I don't know that On Her Way is necessarily any less likely to win than her. On Her Way is the one with the yellow blinkers sort of in fourth. Actually, it's just a different race, actually. I guess this is one. This is actually Posse.
Posse needed back in last June on the sloppy racetrack.
Right. This is the horse that I like in this race, actually, and that's Posse Needed. I think Posse Needed is a possible upsetter in here. Nothing majorly against Bluegrass Jamboree. On Her Way has a chance as well, but Posse Needed is a horse that really had some trouble last time, a race with no pace. Now, I don't know how much pace she'll get today, but she'll be a better price. I thought she was a fair alternative.
She never likes the racetrack, too.
Yep, never been off the board here. A couple of wins in 4 starts here at Belmont Park. Get signed up, started, play along with all the races we show you each and every day on the show. Use the promo code BET25. You'll get a $25 win bet in the Belmont Stakes. If your horse does not win, run second or third, you'll get that money back. You'll also get $200 in your account within the first 2 weeks of wagering $200. Be sure and use that promo code BET25 at sign-up. Details at NYRABets.com. Track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. The main track is fast, turf course yielding for today's action. And race 6 is going to kick off our NYRA Bets late pick 5. We're 10 minutes to post. It's 7 furlongs main track. Horses who have not won 3 lifetime. And there he goes for Danny Gargan, a speedster who's coming off a 2-length score gate to wire the favorite right now.
And this was one race today that was affected by scratches, and it helped There He Goes because it took a significant speed out when Equal the Score came out. The track does appear to be kind to horses with inside speed, and that's going to help There He Goes. I still don't trust him. I thought he had very much everything his own way last time out. I don't want him at a short price, but I can't argue he's the horse to beat.
Yeah, you make a good point where there's really not a ton of speed. Maybe can't we get along? The 5 can keep up with them a tiny bit early. The 8 swiping down. I know he's a big long shot, but he had speed way back when he was in the Kelly Breen barn. He's sort of lost it. But other than that, There He Goes should get a comfortable lead. But when 2 races back when he lost that lead by 5, he's really a hard horse to trust. And he ran into a weak field last time, but the race before that, if you watch that race, sometimes you just keep looking at it and you're like, how do you keep trusting this horse? And I can't trust him at 3-2.
Well, that was a quick look at his jockey there and those silks of Midwest Thoroughbreds. Kendrick Carmouche having a sensational meet. You could play along with these races without risking any of your own money. You're competing for real prizes and some bragging rights as well. We're going to show the updated standings towards the end of the show. The Showdown contest. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. I believe it comprised of all the races in the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 today. It is free, and again, competing for real prizes like NYRA Bets points. Get involved.
Did you play today, Greg?
The Showdown, I did not.
Okay.
We have 46,281 and growing in the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 pool.
Pretty good. No?
Could be an interesting pick 5 sequence. If you don't think Bluegrass Jamboree is a single, where is the single in today's sequence? I don't know where it comes from.
Ooh, I took a shot with much trouble. for Danny Gargan on the drop, and maybe hopefully goes gate to wire, but tough pick 5.
Here comes our post-parade. We start with Take It to Scale, Chris Engelhart, Rajiv Mirage.
It's a horse that's recently lost his best form, but his last race was encouraging, albeit over 2 months ago, when he actually made a middle move and ran a little bit better than it looks on paper.
Sandy Lane, Dylan Davis riding for Rob Gutierrez.
Yeah, you can argue that this gelding's just a better horse on a wetter surface. A drier surface he really isn't, and ran his career best buyer figure last time out over a sloppy surface.
A couple of good efforts on off tracks from Can't We All Get Along at this level, Michelle Nevin and Jose Ortiz.
I was hoping he was the one that you want as an alternative. There he goes. He could be somewhat forwardly placed. He was my best idea.
There he goes, Kendrick Carmouche and those Midwest Thoroughbred Silks for Danny Gargan. He's won 2 of his last 3, and he is aggressive early.
Yeah, he's gotten back into the Danny Gargan barn 3 starts ago, and you're right. He's turned on the speed a little bit, and that's been his best weapon.
13-1 on Swiping Dan. This is son of Dunkirk. It's been a while since he's visited the winner's circle.
Yeah, his form's really gone south the last 3 efforts. He's going to have to reach way back into somewhere in 2018.
And his 2 wins came at Monmouth back-to-back. Neighborhood Bully, Eric Consell for AC Avila, comes in from Southern California.
Yeah, his recent form has not been spectacular. He has back races good enough, but if you think that inside speed is good, this is a horse that's going to be an outside closer. He could be compromised.
All right, let's take a look at a pick 5 ticket that Paul LoDuca put together. Again, the NYRA Bets late pick 5 starts here. You got some coverage early.
Well, yeah, I don't trust the favorite in here, so I'm going to go very, very deep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Like I said, I'm in single much trouble. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't really trust Bluegrass Jamboree also. I think there's some horses in there. If you look at Bluegrass Jamboree, there's really one race on the form where she towers over the rest of the group, not the rest. And then, listen, the last race is impossible. I thought, I'm taking my shot with Quiet Out East, a horse that run twice on the turf, and then the last 2 have been rained off for Christophe Clement and Manuel Franco. I like the 2 also in there, but I'm taking my shot with the 6. Still a $50 ticket. Like I said, this is a tough sequence because I think there's some beatable favorites like this one, and I also think Bluegrass Jamboree is a little vulnerable.
Don't forget, Uncle Curly gets in that final race, also eligible. Might be tough in that spot for Christophe Clement, the 11.
Or the 11,
as we send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more on the first leg of the NYRA Bets late pick 5.
And guys, we do see there he goes as your favorite. Actually like him a little bit more this time around than I did last time, despite him winning. But looking to his inside with a horse coming back off of a layoff, that's number 5. Can't We All Get Along for trainer Michelle Nevin. Now, he comes back here off a bit of a break, and while I like the turn back in distance, he's built much more of a sprinting physical. I mean, he's very stout and compact. He just could look a bit more fit, and you see how warm he's gotten there between his legs and up on his shoulders as well, and that's just usually an indication, from my vantage point at least, as a horse that needs a race to get back to his fitness levels. Also coming off a bit of a layoff, he's number 9, Neighborhood Bully, and also making his first start here in New York. As Andy said, his recent form's not good. I mean, watching his last race, he really did no running whatsoever. Comes in here, though. He turns back a bit, a furlong. I like that for him because he is sharp in here, making his first start for trainer AC Avila, and he looks really fit. So with that in mind, I think he is ready for this return. It's just, can he return to his good races? The horse I thought posed the biggest threat, though, by looking at them, to number 6, there he goes, is number 4, Sandy Lane. Ran a fairly fast fig, although that was going longer as he turns back to 7 furlongs. I'm sorry, I thought this race was 6 furlongs. Wow. Sandy Lane, I thought, getting back to this distance, he looks really good out there. He warmed up beautifully underneath Dylan Davis. He took him away from the pony. He just moved very nicely across this main track. His coat looks superb. I'm going to take a shot with him to upset your current favorite, and there he goes.
All right, Maggie, thank you. As we get set, 3 minutes away from the start of this NYRA Bets late pick 5. Still time for you to get in, get involved. 66,000 and growing. Let's take a look at our race schedule. Brought to you by WinStar, the farm that pays you back. Races 6 through 9 here at Belmont. And we have some very intriguing races out at Churchill Downs. We're going to bring you races 8 through 10 out there, including race 9, which basically is a stakes race in a turf sprint. Let's check in with Jonathan Kinchen live from Louisville for more on today's card at Churchill Downs.
What's going on, fellas? I'm here at beautiful Churchill Downs. The weather's nice. Hopefully our viewers are alive in the pick 4 or the pick 5, but if not, luckily there's a pick 3 starting here. You'll be able to watch all 3 of those races here with us. The 8th race coming up right now is an allowance race. I love a horse in this spot. We'll do the turf sprint that Greg mentioned earlier. Looks like it's an allowance race, although it looks like a little bit of a stake race. We'll go with that one, and then in the final we have a maiden race that has some really kind of interesting and fun horses. In this race right here, I absolutely love this 6 horse. And let me tell you why. With Dignity is the name of the horse, and it's a horse trained by Ian Wilkes. Ian Wilkes is not the type of guy, not the type of trainer that cranks his horses up first time out. He's actually a 5% trainer dirt sprinting on debut. This horse won, and now he comes back, and I love a horse like that. Obviously, he has to be a talented horse to be able to kind of run through that negative stat for Ian Wilkes when he's debuting horses. I think he's going to be extremely tough in here. He's a homebred horse as a half to a horse that a lot of viewers might know about, McCracken. He was a horse that was my Derby pick a few years back, and unfortunately that didn't go well, but definitely a talented horse, well-bred horse, and a horse that I think could be sitting on a really big race, and the tote board's telling me the same thing. Bye, guys, back to you.
Jonathan, thanks. Yeah, with Dignity, first time out was 17-1, but got up for the victory for Ian Wilkes, daughter of Declaration and War, and she has come back with a bullet drill since that time. So it looks like the word is out after what she did in that first out effort. Get a look there at Dallas Stewart. He's going to send out Broadway Cat in that 8th race. We'll get back to that race momentarily. We're about to break from the gate here to start off this NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. And it's 4s and 5s here.
Wow, nobody picking the favorite. That means there he goes. We'll probably jog. But Andy and I are both on the 5. I think we're both thinking the same thing, that we're going to at least be in a stalking position to try to pass the 6, or at least get first run maybe.
When I made picks for this race, I assumed equal to score was going to be in the race. And when you're in the role of being a public handicapper and your picks have to go on much earlier, there's not a lot you can do after the scratches. I still wouldn't have picked There He Goes. And I think Can't We Get Along could be relatively close to the pace, so maybe won't be badly compromised. And his price is right at 5-1, but the favorite's job got so much easier after the scratches.
And as a result of that, getting hammered at the windows. Even money, There He Goes. Kendrick Carmouche should be a perfect fit for the running style of this 5-year-old son of Here Comes Benny, who's on board for the win last time, gate to wire. And expect to see those tactics again here. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call, Larry Collmus. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and Altitude.
And the next horse to come up will be the favorite There He Goes at odds of even money. Under Kendrick Carmouche moving into the starting gate. Swiping Dan and Neighborhood Bully will be the last 2. Swiping Dan steps up. And here's Neighborhood Bully completing the line, all in line. They're off. Can't We All Get Along? And There He Goes. There He Goes takes a slight lead. Swiping Dan is right there. Ticket to Scale is 4th on the inside. Sandy Lane is 5th, and Neighborhood Bully trails the field. There He Goes on top by 3/4 of a length over Swiping Dan up the backstretch. Take It to Scale is 3rd. Can't We All Get Along back running in 4th now, and 3.5 lengths off the lead. Sandy Lane's got 6 to make up and is well clear of Neighborhood Bully through a 22.47 opening quarter mile. A half mile to go, and There He Goes leads by a length, with Swiping Dan continuing to pursue from 2nd. And then comes Can't We All Get Along on the outside. Take It to Scale down toward the rails. Sandy Lane 5th, 5 lengths off the lead, and 8 clear of Neighborhood Bully. There He Goes ran a 45.33 half and comes toward the top of the stretch with Swiping Dan 3/4 of a length behind. Can't We All Get Along comes wide. Cutting the corner is Take It to Scale, and then it's Sandy Lane. To the 8th pole they go, and Kendrick Carmouche shaking up. There He Goes to a 2.5 length lead. Swiping Dan is next. On the outside, Sandy Lane has kicked it in, and then it's Take It to Scale. And on the far, far outside, Neighborhood Bully from dead last, finishing fast but too late as Sandy Lane comes down to the wire in front. Over There He Goes and Neighborhood Bully, and then it was Take It to Scale.
Sandy Lane, 4-1. There He Goes. Ran out of gas in the stretch.
Yeah, There He Goes did not break right on top. I mean, he didn't break badly, but he ended up getting engaged in a very quick first quarter, 22.47, and you could see it in the stretch. He was just running out of gas, and a terrific ride by Dylan Davis. Saved ground on the turn, as you can see him back there in fifth, and angled out in the stretch. No better trip, especially when you get a fast pace in front of you.
Yeah, and look where the 9 is. I mean, Eric Cancel was asking early, like, let's go, let's go, let's go, and he just missed second, but right here you could tell the 4 is about to win this race, and There He Goes started to shorten stride. Andy's right. That first quarter, the 8, you know what killed him was Swiping Dan showed some of that speed that he had way in the past and made him go pretty fast early.
4-1 to start off the NYRA bets. Late pick 5, 4, 6, 9, 3. 6-5 favorite. Defeated in this opening leg of the sequence. Bob Glaceris, Dylan Davis, Michael Schmidt winning connections on the son of Awesome Again, who wins for the 3rd time in 16 career starts. We'll be back with prices from race 6. We'll set the stage for the 7th as well, and we'll talk about the biggest upset we saw all weekend on Derby weekend. It came on Friday in the Edgewood. The previously undefeated Newspaper of Record. She was making her 2019 return. She got beat at 1-5. We'll talk about her next race coming up. This
is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here in Montfort Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tappet has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by the former champion sprinter of 2015. Runhappy never lost in his career while sprinting, did it all while racing medication-free. Now stands at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. Starting off our NYRA bets, late pick 5. It's Sandy Lane and a 4-1 upset to kick things off. Dylan Davis aboard.
Yeah, congratulations to Skelding by Awesome Again at the safe Florida Sandy mare. Warm-hearted Sandy. Dina Springs and Mr. Michael Schmidt. Congratulations to everybody. Now 3 for 15 lifetime. Dylan really riding well. And getting $10 horse to start off your NYRA late pick 5.
We move along, race 7. It'll be on the inner turf. Mile and a 16th, $40,000 maiden claiming event in Channel Island for Christophe Clement. It was 12-1 morning line. Wow. 2 starts against straight maidens at Tampa. Now drops in for maiden claiming favored.
Yeah, he won't be favored for long. I'm looking at multi-race bets. I can't believe he's favored at any point. He's never done any running in any of his races.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Tom Morley chart is going to be the... I understand Duncastle's 0 for 10, but his numbers are pretty good. And when it comes to the exotics, when I look up, he is. But obviously this horse has been working well with blinkers, and there must be some kind of steam behind.
Well, big drop as well, but yeah, it's going to need to improve off those efforts. The Wonder Again, part of our Belmont Stakes Festival racing. It happens on Thursday in Newspaper of Record. Chad Brown said just probably wasn't fit enough in that Edgewood in her comeback race in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, she ran off a little bit in that race, more so than she's done in her prior races. Maybe she was fresh, and that was the situation. Now, a race like this, she's going to be in front because unless somebody runs contra their PPs, she's too fast for them. We'll see, you know. You won't learn if she can rate, but she did stalk and win her debut.
Yeah.
And the filly she's working with here, she was in that race as well. She wound up finishing 4th. Cambier parked there on the inside. She'll tackle her again in the Wonder Again.
I tell you what, you can just see how naturally fast she is. She's going 48 like it's just nothing, and she's ready to go by that other horse. You know, I know like everybody thinks it's disappointing. I thought she got just beat by a really nice filly. Now I get it. She ran off last time, And you can see they're trying to slow her down, but she still wants to go. She's like, let's go, let's go. She's actually, the jockey's waiting on the other horse. I mean, she's going to be a handful. I don't put anything into that last race because I just think she'll settle down a little bit more.
I think it's a pivotal race for her. I mean, I don't disagree. The winner last time, don't know where that race came from.
But she can run a
She
little
ran
bit.
a huge race, much better than she had run before. But I still think it's a pivotal race. But you have a horse that's as exciting and dominant as Newspaper Record. You don't want to see them lose. She's got to run a big race at here. I'm not saying she's not going to, and I don't disagree, Paul. You don't want to just give up on her, but I think she has to run well in this race.
The filly who beat her in that race was a rematch of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. She had the benefit of a start this year. Newspaper of Record did not. We'll see if she could settle down a little bit and start number 2 of her 2019 campaign. Here's our post parade for the 8th at Churchill as we look at Joe Marie. We had a late scratch of the 1 in here. Jinx Fires, John Court team up.
Yeah, this horse ran a good little third off the layoff, so might improve today.
Perfect Reigns for Steve Asmussen with Ricardo Santana Jr.
She looked a little bit on the slow side for Steve Asmussen, but at least she's sort of consistent.
See if Peter Miller can get going a little bit. He's had a slow start at Churchill Downs. Tyler Gaffleone aboard.
He's got a couple chances today. I don't know about this one, but this one's 17-1, took the blinkers off last time and improved.
7-1 on What a Fox, who will stretch out for trainer Joe Sharp.
Same connections as Maximum Security. I am betting this horse to wire the field.
With Dignity.
Oof.
Julian Leperoux, Ian Wilkes, and this one won first time out at 17-1.
Exactly. And like Andy always says, do you want to go to the wedding at 17-1 and then be at the funeral at 3-5? I mean, I get it. She was giant, but I don't know at 3-5.
Fun Patty is at 7-1. Brian Hernandez Jr.
She certainly had her share of chances, but unlike most in here, she's a dual winner.
Broadway Cat is at 11-1. Dallas Stewart and Florent Giroux.
Yeah, I thought an interesting horse here at 11-1. Flo the jockey gets aboard and might improve this daughter Tail of the Cat.
And Tiz Ella for Neil Pessin. Corey Lannery rides at 10-1, 11-1 on the outside.
A deep closer. Will she get enough pace to run into?
Had her maiden breaking win at Keeneland back as a 2-year-old. Let's check it again with Jonathan Kinchen as we close in here on race 8.
Fellas, how you guys doing? The one scratch I think you guys probably talked about in the paddock was acting up a little bit, so that one won't be in here. And speaking of the one, it was a horse I kind of liked. The rail has been good at Churchill pretty much all week. However, it seems to change though a little bit. You looked at the last race on the dirt. They came swooping down the middle of the track. The inside horse was on the lead, didn't keep going. Another bet horse was down on the rail, didn't keep going. So maybe the track man has fixed that a little bit. I would look to kind of look for some outside sweeping type horses. We talked about earlier the 6 with Dignity for Ian Wilkes, a horse taking a lot of money, a horse that has the profile of a horse that I'd like to get involved with. I've singled him in this spot. Hopefully he'll come swooping down the middle. If you're looking for a little bit of a bigger price, Tiz Ella is another one that makes a little bit of sense with some nice pedigree. Tiz Ella is a half to Conti Partiro, who won a race at Royal Ascot early in that career, and then Donworth, another stakes horse, full to Donworth. So that horse is another one at 10-1 that could make a little bit of sense. What a Fox is a horse that is 5-1 here. I'm not crazy about. Was in for a tag. Also had the horse entered MTO last time, and I've never been a trainer before, but I tell you, if I was trying to sneak one over, I would try to sneak him over in MTO if I didn't feel that confident, and that's the way I'm reading the horse, the 5-horse What a Fox. But look, I love this 6-horse, and the tote board loves him too. He's 3-5, and hopefully we can get a little Ian Wilkes interview after the race. Guys, back to you.
Jonathan wants to wrap this race up like it's over already.
You know, Paul made the point about the fact that you missed the wedding at 17-1. And, you know, one thing that Jonathan said, and she's the horse to beat. She's ridiculously overbet, and I'd like to book her at 4-5 before I bet her. Having said that, she's a half to McCracken. McCracken was a very good horse, but he was better around one turn. And the way this horse closed sprinting first time out, I wonder if she's necessarily going to be as effective stretching out. Now, from a dynamic standpoint, she should be stalking the 5 on the outside and get a good trip, and she may just be better than these. And I agree, if Ian Wilkes wins first time, it's a very good sign. But, boy, taking 4-5 stretching out after that, not the way I think you win at the racetrack.
I'm with him. Like I said, I actually picked the 6. I did. I picked the 6 to win the race, but
I thought it should be this price.
Yeah, that is wagering. You can't. The wager's the 8 for me.
Well, it's Broadway Cat for Dallas Stewart, the 8 filly. But we'll see with Dignity. A lot of hype after that debut victory for Ian Wilkes. Let's go to Travis Stone. Here's the 8 from Churchill Downs.
And
They're off. Fun Patty with a good start. What if Fox was away well, too? She rocks to look, and down inside Jo Marie. Perfect Range is up close as well. The scramble is on early for the race into the clubhouse turn. What if Fox on the outside, Jo Marie at the rail. Those two go on with it now. They open up to lead by 2.5. Perfect Range backs off to be third. She Rocks to Look is racing in fourth. Broadway Cat broke from the outside and is down inside fifth, saving ground around the clubhouse turn. With Dignity running along in seventh. Tizella second to last early. And Fun Patty, after breaking on top, is wide and at the back and starting to move up early. The opening quarter in 23 and 4/5 seconds. Tight pack. What a Fox is the leader. And here comes Fun Patty. From last to first in about a furlong. Jo Marie smack dab between them. Perfect Range down inside, racing in fourth. Tizella fifth, in some traffic advancing up. She Rocks to Look is wide to the far turn, running in sixth. And then it's With Dignity in seventh, and Broadway Cat is at the back in eighth. Round the far turn, What a Fox, and that early move from Fun Patty on the outside. They go head and head with 3 furlongs to go. The half-mile time is 49 seconds flat. Perfect Range has been inside and saving ground every step of the way. She Rocks to Look is forced wide round the far turn. Jo Marie's in the thick of it, about 3 lengths to make up there. Top of the stretch now, Fun Patty off the turn with a tenuous lead. What a Fox is battling on. Jo Marie trying to get on track late. With Dignity finds a seam, and here she comes. With Dignity rocketing down the center of the track, rallying strongly up to challenge Fun Patty for the lead, and she goes right on by. With Dignity, with a decisive move to the front, streaks under the wire, the 3-length winner. Jo Marie was second, Fun Patty was third, and Tizella finished fourth.
This filly has some talent. With Dignity now undefeated, wins sprinting at 6.5 in the debut, and now wins on the stretch out at 1 16 miles.
Well, she got squeezed out of it on the backside. She was much the best in here, her in the 8. And the 8 just had nothing. She runs dead last, and watch her just wheel the outside. I don't think Brian Hernandez even hit her at all. Not a great field, but this is what you want to see in your second start.
She was very impressive. I agree. I mean, she's obviously not beating much, but I agree. She did not have a good trip. She was shuffled out of position, back to last, and she won as she pleased. I agree. This was a visually impressive performance. We'll see when she runs against tougher, but she should have been 4 to 5 today. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she should have been 2 to 5.
Prices from that race when we return, and we'll set the stage, have a Paddock report post-parade. Race 7 at Belmont Lebec for Kieran McLaughlin. Right now the 5-2 favorite on the board, getting back to the turf, trying to get a maiden score in career start number 10.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
This is America's Day at the Races. It is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Welcome to those just joining us on Fox Sports 2. Good to have you with us. It is the calm before the storm. Of course, next week, Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, and on Saturday, third and final leg of the Triple Crown. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Greg Wolf alongside former four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Our feature today, Bluegrass Jamboree, that comeback race from this year over at Aqueduct on that fast track, that was sensational from her.
It was a very good race, and she's got 2 wins at Belmont. But there's some other horses in here that like Belmont, like the 4, like the 6. And the horse you like, Andy, Posse Nita, who's never been off the board.
Yeah, I'm not a big horse-for-course guy, but I will agree that Posse Nita does seem like a horse that runs her best race at Belmont. Bluegrass Jamboree is going to win if she runs that February 9th race. Greg, you're absolutely right. The question is she going to, because it's an aberration to every other race she's really ever run.
First up, race 7, though. This is a mile and a 16th over the inner turf, $40,000 maiden claiming event. It starts the late pick 4. Let's head downstairs for a Paddock report and go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg LeBeck is your current favorite here in the paddock as he'll make a return to the turf, but the first time in for a tag for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. Now, this 4-year-old obviously has been kept away from the races a bit, and there's obviously some issues with him as he is wearing those front bandages getting on the turf. You know, you don't always love to see that, bandages on the turf course, as I have said in the past. He looks fantastic, though, and often you will see horses firing their best shots third off the layoff. This is the strongest and most tucked up that this horse has appeared, and if you go back through his form, yeah, his turf races are probably some of his better efforts, and he certainly does have those slacker pasterns, flatter hoof that translates well to getting on the grass. Now, moving on to the horse that took some early money, that's number 5, Channel Island, off of a layoff and dropping in class here after running fairly slowly in his Tampa races. Look, he's a son of English Channel. They do tend to be on the smaller side, and he is just that. So, in other words, he does fit well dropping down in class. I wouldn't want to see him in a maiden special weight here at Belmont, that's for sure, and Christoph just being realistic. We'll see if he improves. He comes back looking ultra fit. He's very professional here in the paddock. He has just a shortcut blinker. So, look, the money might be meaningful, the early money. We'll see. I'm not in love, but I could see him winning, too. Now, number 7 here is AI Initiative. He's a pretty big price as of now. We'll see what he ends up going off at, but his last race does make him fairly competitive here. The problem with him, though, is I haven't seen him since last year. As a 4-year-old, he has done no growing whatsoever. He does come in looking extremely fit, though, but then again, he's going out for a barn that has not been that successful with their turf horses, Greg.
All right, now 8-1 on AI Initiative as we head back to Churchill Downs. And this could be a very talented filly with a bright future with dignity. Daughter of Declaration of War gets the win. Let's go to Jonathan Kinchen.
I'm here with Julian Leperoux, his 900th win at Churchill Downs. How was it on this filly?
That was great. I mean, we love this filly. She's been walking very good. We were expecting this kind of race today. You know, she's been doing very good, and she went very easy today.
I'll tell you what, I bet on this filly. I was a little bit nervous. You're a little bit far back going 49. Were you nervous at all about the pace in front of you, or did you feel pretty confident throughout the entire run?
Well, if you watch the replay, you know, almost they came out on me on the backside. I almost clipped Pierce, so that's why we were backing up a little bit. But she always traveled very nicely for me, and you know, around the turn, I was just waiting to have an opening and kick on very nice.
We got a big NYRA audience. You're obviously going to be at Belmont next week for Master Fencer. I think you're going to work him on Wednesday. What do you know about this horse?
Well, I mean, you know, he obviously ran very good in Derby. He ran a big leg kick. Since then, I haven't been on him. I was supposed to walk him last week, but my flight got canceled. So hopefully this week the traveling is great, and I can get on him on Wednesday morning and see where we're at. But I think the added distance is going to be helping him definitely. Yeah.
We'll let Julian get back to the room. Congratulations on 900.
Thank you.
Ian Wilkes, obviously McCracken was a big horse for you, and this filly being a half to McCracken, what does this win mean for you?
Oh, it's special. The whole family's special, and it all goes back to the owners, Mrs. Whittam, Clay Whittam, the whole family. You know, it's tremendous. It's important.
What do you think's the next for this filly after that impressive performance?
You know, I'll talk to Mrs. Whittam and Clay, and maybe, you know, we might take a step up to an Oaks, you know, either the Iowa Oaks or the Indiana Oaks, one of the two.
Awesome. Congratulations. She was impressive.
Thank you. She's nice.
Guys, back to you.
Jonathan, thanks. There's number 900 for Julian Leperoux. Maybe he'll collect number 901 coming up in the next race. He's on a mare with a big chance in a rematch, though, with Morticia, who's going to be real tough to deny.
Well, they have that sign with a 1, 901.
Keep updating it all the way to 1,000 and beyond, as Ian Wilkes has to be excited with that performance.
Yeah, Ian's a terrific trainer, and he's a terrific guy, too. It's good to see him with good horses. And, of course, a lot of people remember him with with Fort Larned, but he was also an assistant and worked with Carl Nafsker for many years and involved with horses like Unbridled.
Post parade coming up here momentarily for the 7th at Belmont. And if you're not in love with Lebec in this spot, and he doesn't have to win here, this looks like a good wagering board.
He doesn't have to win, and I would never bet him at 8-5, but I also think he's going to win. Now, the board's going to even out because the 3 Duncastle's not going to be anywhere near 7-1 by post time. And as Paul pointed out, he's the favorite in the doubles, only a slight favorite to Lebec. They're the 2 horses in this race. Lebec ran well last time. Can he get a mile and a 16th? The question. But Lebec faced horses that are graded stakes horses compared to these in the one race he ran the turf, and even run that badly. And frankly, his last race was actually a very good effort because that was a monumentally fast pace. The horse that won came from way back. The horse who was second was the other closer, and every speed in the race finished a pole behind this horse. So his last race was good, and now he's getting the right surface in a weaker field. He's the horse to beat, but 8-5 is pretty short.
Yeah, I get it. But both races were on the outside. He gets the outside again. 10-10, 12-12. He's 9-9 today.
Here's the meet's leading rider aboard Rhode Island, Jose Lezcano for trainer Shug McGahee.
This horse with back form that would trounce this field. The problem is his last 2 races, and particularly his last at this level, they just weren't good.
They finally dropped in for a tag at this level, and he did not fire last time out. A beaten favorite. Bad Sueño for Eric Guillot and Southern Equine.
Maybe a better than looked 7th last time at 45-1. That's why they're getting better at 14-1, but still needs to improve.
Does drop down a little bit. Duncastle for Javier Castellano. Tom Morley.
They tried to wire the field last time, and I think he ran well despite losing at 8-5. There's more speed today, but I think he could rate anyway.
Azadin, he was right behind Duncastle in that May 16th effort for Napal Chatterpaul.
Yeah, they took the blinkers off. Maybe the cut in the ground helped him, but he definitely improved last time out. Again, 11-1 today.
Christophe Clement sends out a Son of English Channel. 2 starts against Straight Maidens at Tampa.
Yeah, but Straight Maidens at Tampa may not be better than Maidens 40s here. He needs to improve with leaps and bounds.
Gary Contessa sends out Power Boss, who has tried the turf 6 times, only hit the board once.
Yeah, this one's just what Andy said. Needs to probably more than leaps and bounds. The last race at Suffolk was okay, but that was Suffolk Downs for Maiden 16.
And that was the only time that he has hit the board on the grass. AI Initiative, I thought a player in here, big price.
Couldn't agree more, Greg. I think he's a player as well, and he's a horse that could be the controlling speed.
Luis Reyes will be aboard. Shiloh Lane, huge long shot for Gary Siaka, 32-1.
Yeah, I guess it's an underlay considering he's been 75 and 69-1 his last 2 starts.
And Lebec, Shadwell Stable, Kieran McLaughlin, and Dylan Davis.
I understand he should be a short price. This is a little bit overboard, but his turf races are good. If he's 5-2 or better, I'll bet him.
Faced, Mission Office, Frontier Market in that most recent turf start. That was back in May of last year. And first time in at this level on turf for Lebec as you get a look at the gray son of Tappet. 8-5 favorite. 4 minutes to post here in the 7th from Belmont Park.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guys gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We have the 7th race coming up. Just a minute to post as we look again here at AI Initiative, who's been second 3 out of 5 starts on the turf.
He's not impossible. I mean, he's probably a touch slower than these. And as Maggie touched on something we've discussed before, that Merton Contermas, the trainer, has had success, but limited on the turf. But you're getting compensated at 9-1. And I just think, Greg, 9-1 is a very fair price on this horse.
No, you're right. That is a very fair price. And a horse that could be forwardly placed in a race that doesn't look like a ton of these horses are going to love to pass each other. Now, the grade of the 3, Duncastle, not getting played at the window. Maybe everybody's thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot of pace in this race, but I don't get it at 5-1. That horse should be at least around 7-2, somewhere in that area. It's a little bit too low. I mean, too high, excuse me.
So 5-1 on Duncastle. Tried to wire a field. That was a yielding turf course at Belmont back on May the 16th. It got caught late, had a 2-length lead.
Yeah, he's going to be one of these horses that you're going to look up and people are going to say, he was 5-1 going the gate. How did he go off at 5-2 or 2-1? Because there is going to be a big punch on this horse late. It's almost inevitable. If he was stayed at 5-1 Duncastle, I'm all in. That's a crazy price on him.
And you see,
this is weird. Favored in doubles, not taking any money.
Luis Saez getting settled on the 5, Channel Island. Lebec still favored from the outside. Dylan Davis on the 9 horse. First time in at this level on turf for Shadwell Stable and Kieran McLaughlin. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Here's race 7 from Belmont with Larry Collmus.
Shiloh Lane has moved in, and Lebec, currently at 9-5, takes the outside stall, and they're all in line. They're off. Duncastle looked like he bobbled a bit coming out of there, but goes to the early lead with Azadine alongside. And right alongside of them is Channel Island. Lebec is 4 deep as they head toward the backstretch. Then it's Bad Sueno, AI Initiative, and Rhode Island behind them. The trailers are Shiloh Lane and Power Boss. So onto the backstretch they go in pursuit of Duncastle, who leads the way and is on top a half a length. Azadine on the outside, second by 3. Lebec is third. And then Channel Island back there running in 4th, 5 lengths off the lead, just ahead of Bad Sueno and a 3-deep AI Initiative. Rhode Island is 10 lengths behind with Shiloh Lane alongside and Power Boss at the back of the pack. So they continue the run up the backstretch, where the leader is Duncastle, and Azadine continues to put some pressure on. They went 46.68 for a half. Lebec is in 3rd and 4 from the front. And then it's Channel Island, Bad Sueno, followed by AI Initiative on the outside. Break of another 3 to Rhode Island, Shiloh Lane, and still the trailer is Power Boss as they round the far turn. It is still Duncastle from Azadine. They've been 1-2, and Lebec is 3rd and edging up to them. Going to get a 3-wide trip. Then it's on the far outside, AI Initiative, Bad Sueno, and Channel Island, 3/4, 110.91, and they're into the stretch, and it is Duncastle in front. And here's Lebec on the outside. These two are 1-2, and Rhode Island is starting to finish well in the center. And then it's Channel Island in 4th. It is Lebec on the outside. And here comes Rhode Island. These two will decide it. Lebec and Rhode Island down to the line. Lebec a half a length. Rhode Island was second, then Duncastle and Channel Island.
Lebec, Dylan Davis able to hang on and get the win. Rhode Island was trying to make a race of it late under Jose Lezcano.
Yeah, he started launching, and Jose has been hot as can be. He pushed the button at the right time. It looked like he was going to go on by. Look at him. He's looking for room. He has to he gets hindered because the 3 horses behind that were in a complete drive were not really toting him forward. So now he has to go to the outside. You see the white blinkers with a little checkers there. Now he's got to chase down the gray. And at one point about right here, he's really starting to move. But I think that Lebec, the favorite, actually sees him because he never really gets to him right here. You can see Lebec's like, okay, I can feel somebody on the outside of me, and the one never gets any closer. About a half, but was never going to threaten.
9-1, 3-5 finish, so the 5-2 post-time favorite. Lebec appreciating this maiden claiming company here on the turf, and this 3-horse Duncastle, same story as last time out, had the lead pretty much all the way through the stretch. Even last start was 2 lengths clear and got caught late.
Yeah, the fraction's just a little too much. 110 flat, just not, you know, his kind of style, especially going long for the second time when he was able to cut 113 and he gave it up. So you knew today it was going to be really tough. And the quality, like you said, of Lebec dropping down. And here's the other part of this. Rhode Island had been coming out of 1 1/4 races, 1 3/16 races. So you knew that he had the bottom of a horse that would be flying late, and that's exactly what happened.
So Lebec, Dylan Davis, again, that 4-win day just a couple of days ago here at Belmont Park, collects another win. And there's your winning trainer, Kieran McLaughlin.
He's got to be one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet in the game. Actually, sometimes I get to report here and there on a Thursday. He sat down on the bench, talked to me for a little while. He's got that southern draw, obviously a Lexington boy. Man, he is one of the coolest dudes. And when his horses win, you just have a smile on your face because you just know that Kieran just does everything the right way. And he's really cool with the media. It just gives you a lot of great access, you know?
Now, I mentioned the other day it was because of him that Tax even wound up on the Triple Crown Trail. Danny Gargan claimed the horse in a $50,000 maiden claiming event, and he breezed just exceptional. Kieran saw it, told Danny, I'd nominate him to the stakes race coming up. He said, I can't do that. I just claimed him for 50. He said, I would do it. He did, and wound up running 3rd in the race and then going on to win the Withers.
In a world where we hear a lot of things, he's the one guy in this world I've never heard a bad thing about, and that's speaks volumes.
Lebec, the win. We'll have the prices in a moment. We go back to Churchill Downs, and this really has a feel of a stakes race. There's some talented runners in here in this 5-furlong turf sprint, including Morticia, who we've got to know pretty well at Saratoga the last couple of summers. As we start things off with excessive spending, who just missed against Morticia with a very wide trip in the Giants Causeway at Keeneland.
And Chris Hartman already got a win on the card, and this one has been very, very sharp. Doesn't have any luck at Churchill, or hasn't had any luck so far.
13-1 on probation, Corey Lannery for Neil Pessin.
Would be an upset in here. She has not been facing, or at least competitively, the quality she faces today.
Surrender Now had back-to-back wins at Del Mar last summer for Peter Miller.
I think a decent price considering she might be the one to catch, but she got away with easy fractions last time and gave it up.
Darren Miller sends out Ruby Notion, became a grade 3 winner on the turf at Kentucky Downs last summer.
She's very good. She does prefer some given the ground, but she's second off the layoff and can certainly move forward.
The one to beat, Morticia, when she won the Giants Causeway 2 starts back. That was a 7th stakes win of her career.
You know what? She's become more tactical. She used to launch from way out of it, and now she can show some speed. By far the mare to beat.
And Miss Shack at 11-1, Joe Orsino, Chris Landeros.
She stepped forward the turf 2 back with a good effort, but when she moved up against this company last time, she was no factor.
We're going to look back at the Giants Causeway. Top 3 finishers coming out of this race, and it's a nice rematch between Morticia, who won that race, Excessive Spending, who just missed, and Surrender Now was in there as well.
Yeah, this is a good race to look at. Morticia is going to win by a neck. And
she got the much better trip, too.
Yeah, she did. And then she's always been a horse that's like Keeneland. And if you look at her record at Churchill Downs, it's not bad either. 2 seconds.
The 10 flying late. That is Excessive Spending.
Yeah, it's the 2 today. And like we said, the 2 is in great form going into today. Can she turn the tables on Morticia?
I think that race shows why people like turf sprints, a cavalry charge down the stretch.
Who gets the front end in here?
We'll leave that up to Jonathan Kinchen, and we're going to check in with now. Jonathan.
I'll tell you what, if I knew who's going to get to the front, I'd be a rich man. But I like Morticia here. She's drawn outside, perfect position. She's 0 for 2 here at Churchill, but I don't really care about that. She got beat ahead, beat a neck. Those are all close races. She's the most tactical filly in the race, in my opinion. She's the best filly in the race. I think she's sitting on a big one. I do tell you this, though. Excessive spending is interesting. Julian Leparoux will be going for his 901st win here at Churchill Downs. I kind of like it when fillies like this draw the rail because I think it takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it. Julian's got to put her into the race, I think, and I'm hoping that maybe a more aggressive ride from down on the inside could help her out a little bit. She's going to have to do something different to turn the tables on Morticia. She's been beat by Morticia in her last 2 races. I'm not confident about that, but I'll use her a little bit. I'm alive to her in pick 3, starting with the Ian Wilkes horse in the last race. Ruby Notion, Andy mentioned coming in off of a layoff and has a right to improve. She also had a really troubled trip last time, too, so kind of improving off of that. Second back, she was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, obviously a much classier race than what she'll face today. And the 4 Surrender Now. Yeah, obviously the 6-1 is a little bit attractive for a horse like this that's found the winner's circle, but Peter Miller is ice cold at Churchill. He's 1 for 21, counting the last race, not in the last 30 days. Not exactly something I'd be willing to put my money on. Morticia for me. I won't be upset if the 2 gets home. Excessive spending. Guys?
Jonathan, thanks. And yeah, it's been a cold meet for Peter Miller. Surrender Now, he trains the 4, but she might be the quickest in here and the one to catch.
I agree. She's the one who's supposed to go to lead. You'd have to think that Morticia and Tyler Gaffleone, his biggest job is to not let her get away and to be right on top of her. And it feels like these 2 are probably going to be the ones to beat simply because of the pace dynamic.
I'm with you. I like the 4 a lot here. I can't believe this horse is 6-1. My worry is, does she want to chase? She seems like she might be better rating. Look at the time she's always gone to the front end. She sort of gives it up. But when she's behind horses, she sort of likes to chase. So I'm actually hoping the 1 goes to the front end in here, or if she can find any speed, or Nor Blame was actually out of here. I'm hoping that somebody else can go to the front end, but she just might land on it because there's really no early pace in here. If she gets away with an early enough fraction, Peter Miller might break off the schneid here.
The pace scenario doesn't favor her, but I think the 5 Ruby Notion second off is the most dangerous of the other horses.
I guess so, yeah.
Because we know that she can run big races. Now, she got a bog. It says soft in Saratoga. I mean, 106-2 for a quality horse that could go 101-2 if it was a firm turf. So that was a bog, and she may really like it deeper. But she got good last year, and I don't want to give up on her just 1 mediocre effort off the layoff.
She's got to get out of the gate.
I mean, she ran 4th in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a quality mare, I should say.
She's got talent. Her issue's been the gate, and I think that's why she's been going to the sidelines. But she got out of the gate in Kentucky Downs Lady Sprint, and she won that race, which is a nice race. She beat a nice filly in Lull, so she does have talent.
There is excessive spending. That was the one who had that wide trip, was trying to chase home Morticia in the Giants Causeway. She ran out of ground. That was at 5.5 furlongs. She only gets 5 furlongs today, but she's been better as a runner at 5 furlongs. 5 of her 6 wins have come at this distance.
She's absolutely not out of it, and she's an ultra consistent filly or mare once again who just seems to run well every time. I wouldn't dismiss her. I think it is interesting, though, because a lot of the turf sprints we see, Saratoga, we run 5.5. At Belmont, we barely run less than 6. 5.5 at Keeneland, 5.5 at Fairgrounds. These are 5s.
Morticia, the 6 horse, the one to beat in line. Let's go to Travis Stone, race 9 at Churchill.
Miss Mishak, last one. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the rough. Surrender Now from mid-pack out well. Excessive spending down inside. Flashing Speed 2. It was a good start for Morticia. On the outside up to be second down the backstretch run. Miss Mishak comes on to be 4th outside of On Probation, who's back into 5th. And Ruby Notion is at the back in 6th. Onto the far turn, Surrender Now shows the way, leads by a length and a half. In hot pursuit is Morticia, getting a little bit closer now on the outside after a quarter in 22-2. Excessive spending down inside, racing 3rd. Miss Mishak is 4th at the quarter pole. Surrender Now, 2 furlongs to go, turning for home in front. Morticia confidently ridden on the outside, shaken up now. Here comes Morticia coming after Surrender Now. Surrender Now trying to dig down. Morticia with all the momentum and all the speed. She goes right on by. Morticia takes over. Morticia takes off to the wire. Morticia by 2.5 in the end. Surrender Now was 2nd. Excessive spending and Ruby Notion.
She has been a fun one to watch over the last few years for us here on the show. Morticia collects the 8th stakes win of her career. Rusty Arnold, G. Watts Humphrey Jr., Tyler Gaffleone aboard for the win.
And Travis Stone said it all when he said she was confidently ridden, because you could just see that Tyler seemed like he could go by any time he wanted, and the pace held together, but she's just too good for these horses.
It just played out exactly like we thought. 4 was going to be the lead. Tyler Gaffleone did a great job. Let's look at the head-on here. Did anything happen here with the 5, Ruby Notion? She broke a little bit flat-footed, but we've been talking about this. She just, it's not like she's bobbling or anything. She's just breaking slow. That's it. Look at her lines. 8 out of 9 last time, 7 out of 14, 6 out of 9, 5 out of 5. She just breaks a little slow. That's it. She's lost a little bit of her speed. She did show a little late pace, though, Andy.
Yeah, she's compromised the last pace. She just doesn't have the speed to run with these. You're right. Broke a little slow, but she didn't lose because of that.
No.
She lost because there's no pace to run at, and she lost some pretty good horses, too.
No.
Morticia has been good for a long time. I mean, she's held her form. Rusty Arnold has done an absolutely sensational job with her.
She's an ATM. We talk about ATMs all the time. That's an ATM.
And expect to see her, I would think, again this summer at Saratoga, where she's already proven that she can win. And she is as sharp a form as she has ever been as a 5-year-old mare. Yeah, Rusty Arnold doing a tremendous job with his daughter at Twirling Candy. Morticia does it again in the 9th at Churchill Downs. We'll be back with the prices. We'll set the stage for their finale as well. And more from Belmont coming up on America's Day at the Races on this Sunday afternoon. Stay with us.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018. This son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
As a commercial breeder, we're always looking for the next big thing in the stallion ranks. Always Dreaming's Florida Derby was one of the greatest performances of that race's history. In the final time, being faster than some very significant horses that have won that race, Empire Maker, Quality Road, Scat Daddy, and to follow up that performance and win the Kentucky Derby like he did, showcase himself as one of the elite athletes of his generation. I made NYRA at Stonehaven Steadings, and this season, we're always dreaming.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site for covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Back at Churchill Downs, Morticia, 8th stakes win of her career. She just keeps on doing it. She is in absolutely tip-top sharp form, and she has been for a long, long time for Rusty Arnold. Tyler Gaffleone aboard for the win.
Yeah, a Twirling Candy at the Mr. Gridley Mare Halloween party, and you know, Andy made a really good point. It's hard to keep a horse like any horse in form like this, and she's been in form like this since 2017. She's now 19 for 22 in the money. Incredible.
Surrender now, excessive spending, 2nd and 3rd, but it was all about Morticia in this spot. Meanwhile,
Surrender Now was trying to slow it down. Listen, and like Tyler Gaffleone just had Surrender Now anytime he wanted to. He could have grabbed the lead a little bit earlier, and Surrender Now probably wouldn't have been able to give it up and might have not run second, but he made it a 2-horse race, and if you had a colt exact to 6-4, you had to be feeling pretty good.
That's a big margin in a 5-furlong
Yeah.
turf sprint that she won by. Let's go to Jonathan Kinchen.
Guys, I'm here with Rusty Arnold. I think he probably feels the same way I did at the 8th pole. I was cashing my ticket. She looked strong right there. Did you feel pretty confident?
Yeah, at that point I did, but she had a good day. The trip went great. We drew a good post, and everything went her way today.
Well, she's obviously been at Saratoga a few times. She's won up there. Do you think we'll see her back up there this summer?
Yeah, she goes next to Saratoga. I forget the name of it right now. I think the Caressing, but it's the 5.5. I think it's the first week.
Do you think she's better at 5, 5.5, or does it not really matter if you had to pick one?
She's won all the way up to 7, but I think just the trip makes the difference.
So the guys were previewing early on the show the Newspaper of Record is going to be running at Belmont this week. But I think some people might forget right over here about 5 weeks ago, you, Bo Barmagen, and BBN, they got the job done with Concrete Rose. Where are we going to see her next?
She'll go to the Belmont Oaks, which is July 6th, and I'm sure we'll catch a Newspaper Record again, so we'll have to be at our best.
The distance, is that going to be an issue for you, the 10 furlongs for her? Do you think or do you think she can go that far?
You know, I think she can. She's out of a power sport mare, won the Arlington Million, so she sure didn't look like she was going to stop in her last one here, so I think she can handle it.
Absolutely. Concrete Rose, we'll see her at Belmont here in a couple of months, or a few weeks, actually.
That'll be part of, I believe, Stars and Stripes weekend. So we look forward to that and a rematch with Newspaper of Record. Of course, Newspaper of Record, as we talked about earlier in the show, is going to be in action next week in the Wonder again. We're going to move on to race 10 at Churchill Downs. We'll get those odds off there in a minute. We just saw Morticia win that 9th race. 10th race we'll put up here in a moment. 7 furlongs, maiden special weight. A really neat race here to close things out at Churchill Downs. We'll get those odds up, though, momentarily.
A lot of horses that ran well in some of their races. I agree. This is a fascinating race.
It really is. 12 horses lining up. There's a couple horses, the first time stars, they paid a ton of money for, $700,000. There's a couple horses that ran bang-up races, too. Be very interesting. Now the odds are up, right?
Meanwhile, at Belmont Park, mile and a 16th on the turf. This is for non-winners of 2 lifetime. That is much trouble, and this is the one to beat, certainly in this 8th race coming up for Danny Gargan. Shifted her to grass, 2 starts back, her 2 turf efforts. 2nd beat a length, and then 4th beat 2 lengths against stronger company. She puts blinkers on today.
Yeah, that's a funny move. I'm not sure what to do with this horse. He's way the horse to beat. I agree with Paul earlier that he is the biggest single in the pick 5. He ran very well 2 back. This is 2 back. So he breaks a little slow, and Kendrick does the right thing. He said, I'm not going to rush the horse. I'll just drop back to the inside. And this running style really flattered him because he ran very well to finish 2nd. Next time he broke fine. He went to the lead. Didn't work out nearly as well. Now, he shouldn't have beaten Variant Perception when he beat him 2 back, and he wasn't beating him last time. But he still could have run better, and now he puts blinkers on. Don't use blinkers on to sharpen their speed. In this case, I'm thinking he gets him to settle a little bit more because maybe he's better rating. The end of the day, his good races are just too good for this field. So that's another reason he's favored. I don't totally trust him, but I didn't try to bet against him, though I do think Risky Sour's a little interesting.
I mean, everything Andy says is right on the button. It really is, because I don't know why they're putting blinkers on. I'm hoping they send the horse to the front end, but then you watch that race and you're like, he might be better behind horses. So maybe Kendrick sends him out there, and if somebody wants to go suicide with him, he can drop back and lay back. But I just don't see anybody else unless the 9 in here, first time on the turf.
River Knight might want to go.
And River Knight on the outside. That's the other horse, yes.
All right, we have a Paddock report coming up. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Riders up here in the paddock. I want to start with that long shot, actually, Andy was mentioning. I'm glad he brought up number 1, Risky Sour. Obviously, I'll let him elaborate on why he may like this horse, but I know he's a 7-year-old that's won for, 42? But his last race was okay, and he gets some clash relief here, in my opinion, and he looks great. This is one of the best times I've ever seen this horse look. I know, 7-year-old, he's definitely reached his physical maturity, but I think he's a little bit interesting at a big price. Now, on to your favorite. That's number 6, Much Trouble. Again, found what Andy was interesting, that blinkers might be applied to focus this horse in, and he actually exemplified that himself. When he first walked in the paddock, he was distracted, he was nickering to the pony, and then once they got the tack on and that equipment on, he just focused in, and now he's nicely on the bridle, he's concentrating more. They're just a shortcut blinker, so they really aren't changing too much, I don't think, here with as far as his running style, but just maybe to get him to concentrate a bit more. He looks great. I can't can't fault him whatsoever here in the paddock. Now, a horse that is going to have to run faster, but that really caught my eye is number 6, Dispatcher for Tom Albertrani. I think this is a realistic placement. This horse broke his maiden at Tampa, but he's a big, good-looking son of Distorted Humor. I like his disposition in here in the paddock. Forward, ears pricked, forward movement from him. Super coat to him as well. So I think Dispatcher, maybe you'll get a little bit of value with him as well for Tom Albertrani. Greg?
Yeah, he's an interesting horse. I don't know what to do with Dispatcher. His two starts, he's run just awful, but his maiden win, he looked good at Tampa. Which one are we going to get this afternoon? I want to remind everyone, tickets on sale now for the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. It is next week, and you do not want to miss it. 6th through the 8th, and a tremendous 3 days of racing, including Belmont Stakes Day that is loaded with Grade 1 after Grade 1 and some of the best horses in the entire world all day long on that afternoon, and the undercard as well.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that day. Obviously, it rivals the Breeders' Cup Day, so obviously we'll be here all day, and hopefully you can come out and join us, say hi.
Well, here comes our post parade, and here is Risky Sour. Benjamin Hernandez for Leo O'Brien.
I'll elaborate on it a bit later, but his last race is better, actually, than the horse who's taking much more money than the 3 Phone Funky Monkey. 1 for 42, but he's not impossible second off.
Phone Funky Monkey, here he is. David Donkey, Rad Ortiz Jr. It's a big rider switch.
It is a very big rider switch. On the other hand, Hector Diaz has ridden him fine in his recent races, but I agree. They're betting him on the rider switch. He's overbet, but can win.
15-1, Run for Boston for Jimmy Ryerson.
Yeah, it took 19 starts to finally get the job done. That was over a sloppy racetrack. Got a sloppy racetrack again. This horse needs wet, and that's about it. 0 for 11 on turf.
Purchasing Power, AC Avila. Eric Consell claimed off a Chad Brown last start.
A Chad Brown horse, he never ran on the turf. Okay. Maybe he missed out, AC. Maybe Chad did, and AC Avila is going to figure it out.
There's much trouble, 8-5. He looks sensational. Blinkers go on today.
Yeah, the one to beat, maybe the one to catch. We don't really know what the tactics are going to be, but on the drop with Kendrick.
Won't be missed. Huge long shot, who's 1 for 9 lifetime on the turf, has not hit the board the other 8 starts.
Yes, he would be a pick 6 carryover type creator.
Here's Dispatcher, the last one Maggie was talking about in the paddock for Tom Albertrani. Had the maiden score at Tampa.
Yeah, made up 20 lengths that day when he broke his maiden at Tampa, then threw in a clunker, and now he's in for 30.
Threat Loves Midnight, 13-1. Todd Pletcher runner. Luis Saez, turf debut.
Feels like a horse that could be part of the pace. He's got a good dirt pedigree, but not a turf one.
We jump to the 11, River Knight, and this one possesses speed as well for Edmund Pringle.
Yeah, probably the horse maybe you can catch, or besides, much trouble in here, the other speed in here.
1 for 57 lifetime. Here's the 10, Call the Cat, Dylan Davis, Gary Siaka.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this horse is half the price, Andy. Why? Tell me why, please.
No idea. It's impossible.
Stretching out, has speed as well. This horse might try and go. And then time expired, Luis Reyes for Mitchell Friedman.
Yeah, another horse that's really tough to get to. 1 for 11 lifetime, 51-1, and that means your longest shot on the board.
That's your field. Race 8, Belmont Park. Much trouble, the one to beat, and get bet on the board, the 3-2 favorite. Our show, of course, brought to you each and every day by the former champion sprinter. There's that legendary stall number 1 with all those superstar names that used to reside there, and now Runhappy does, standing for $25,000 at Claiborne Farm. Quick break. We'll be back with more from Belmont and Churchill.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. Our plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior, stakes performers Scrapper and Malocchio, and Sipican Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. In the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have fetched prices up to $1.25 million and multiple yearlings up to $1 million. Classic winner classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races. We had a parade here last weekend, and the whole town of Elmont, Floral Park, get involved, marching down Hempstead Turnpike on their way to the racetrack.
Yeah, Memorial Day, a lot of the soldiers, and walking for a cause. It was pretty cool. And Craig Wolf loves himself a good band. Nothing better than a band national anthem. I'm just going to let you know that.
Is that Andy on trombone?
Yeah, I was very musical, as you can imagine. Always kicks off Belmont Week here yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
No, they had a lot of fun. There was the week before that, there was another one I got caught in the traffic, but it's always fun to stop and watch it and see the festivities here around town. They love Belmont Stakes Week here, and it's going to be, what do they say, turnt?
Yeah, listen, Flow Rider's going to be here, man.
Yes, he is. Let's get back to Churchill Downs. Check in with Jonathan Kinchen.
I'm not sure if that was the right use of turnt, but it was a really good try, Greg. And Flow Rider, the rider Florent Giroux will probably be there as well. Flow Rider, get what I did there? Look, I'm in horse player heaven right now. I'm alive in the pick 3. I think Will Pay is what we all want to get to. Everybody wants to see a Will Pay. It's the best part of this game. I'm alive to the 4 horses towards the outside, the 8, 9, 10, and 11. The 8 is my top choice here, Golden Notion. If you look at this horse's races at Oaklawn Park, he was bet every time. He was bet when he ran into Pyron, who was a stakes horse who was favored in a stakes race on Preakness Day. And then he ran into Landeskog and Tut's Revenge, who have both come back to run really well. I just think this horse has been unlucky to kind of run into those, and now he's stretching out. And I think he can get the stretch out here. And what do you got? 9-2 on the board, and then also the 10 Jerusalem kind of caught my attention. Windstar Farm and China Horse Club bring this one over. Talking to some friends at Windstar, they've always liked the horse, thought he was extremely talented. He's really kind of cold on the board, but this is a really tough race, so I'm not really concerned that the 8-1 is a little bit bigger than I won. And often in these maiden races, you see horses that have run before often take a little bit more money. Horse players have a little bit of familiarity, so we'll see you guys trackside to talk about some of the other ones in this race.
Jonathan, thanks. Yeah, we look forward to that race. That is a tough maiden special weight at Churchill Downs, no doubt. And that 10, that firster, Jerusalem, $700,000 at the Keeneland September yearling sale 2017, making his debut.
Right.
Back here at Belmont, even money on Much Trouble. Blinkers on today, the one to beat on the board. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Likely second choice here, Greg, is number 3, Phone Funky Monkey. Guys, this horse always looks super, and I've been fooled by him so many times that he's just one of those horses, doesn't matter how good he looks, he just doesn't put it all together in his races. So he's going to have to step forward for me. I'm going to land on the 8, Dispatcher.
Well, he has some races to go back to, talking about Phone Funky Monkey, the 3. You know, back in the day, he faced a lot better than what he's facing here.
He has, but you know,
he's not a win machine.
I want to talk. I didn't really get a chance to talk about the 1 horse in here. As a long shot, I think it's interesting, and I bet a bid 6-1 exacta. In his last race, he was a little bit wide while Risky Sour saved ground in the turn, but Risky Sour got completely shut off by him, and yet he still came around him and still beat him. And Risky Sour is 13-1, and he's 7-2. To me, that is the very definition of value. I don't think Funky Monkey is impossible in here, and Ira Ortiz is a good rider switch, but Hector Diaz has ridden him very well in here, and I just think from a value perspective, you are much better off betting on the 1, Risky Sour, than the 3, Phone Funky Monkey, and take your chances.
Leo O'Brien had a winner in the first race yesterday, so looking for another one with Lawn Twist.
Neither of these two love to win. Risky Sour, the 1, he's 1 for 42. Phone Funky Monkey, 1 for 16. Horse to beat, no question, is Much Trouble. Just his 3rd start on turf. The 6 horse, Kendrick Carmouche, Back aboard today, the blinkers on. Will that get him more focused and help him finish today? There he is in those green and black silks of Midwest Thoroughbreds. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Collmus.
Last few runners moving into the starting gate here. Call the Cat will be the next one in. Dylan Davis looking for his third in a row on this long shot at 31-1, who is now moving into the starting gate. And next up will be Much Trouble, who continues to be a very heavy favorite here at odds of 3-5. River Knight going in. Much Trouble bulks a little bit and steps forward into line, leaving just Time Expired, who steps forward and in. They're all in line. They're off. River Knight had a very good beginning and goes out to the early lead, opening up a length and a half. Thread Loves Midnight on the outside, running along in second. Much Trouble's a bit headstrong in between, and slipping through on the inside is Risky Sour. And now Much Trouble will sit fourth onto the backstretch. And then it's Won't Be Missed, Phone Funky Monkey, followed by Call the Cat, Run for Boston behind them, followed by Purchasing Power and Time Expired on the far outside. The trailer is Dispatcher as they run by this opening quarter mile in 24.33 seconds, led by River Knight, who's out there by 2. Threat Loves Midnight on the outside, second. Risky Sour is third. Much Trouble is fourth right now and 4.5 lengths off the lead, cleared 2.5 from Won't Be Missed, and Phone Funky Monkey on the inside. Break of another 2.5 lengths more to Purchasing Power, who moves 3 deep up the backstretch. Run for Boston is down toward the rail. Time Expired is right there, too, along with Call the Cat. And Dispatcher is last. 48.52 was River Knight's half mile as he heads into the far turn, still the leader a length and a half. Threat Loves Midnight on the outside, second. Risky Sour and Much Trouble right alongside of him. Time Expired has made progress, moving 3 wide up into fifth and 4 from the front. Then Phone Funky Monkey, followed by Purchasing Power. Dispatcher starting to make an impact from the back of the pack, but very wide. Then Call the Cat, Run for Boston and Won't Be Missed. And they're into the stretch with River Knight still to catch. But Much Trouble is on the scene now. A length and a half behind, closing in with a furlong to run. River Knight trying to gut it out another furlong. Much Trouble on the outside, ranges up alongside. They're stride for stride. Much Trouble to the front. River Knight is next, and then comes Risky Sour. Much Trouble running away to victory here. Wins it by 4 over River Knight, who held second from Risky Sour, and Threat Loves Midnight fourth.
26-1 shot, tried to steal this thing. River Knight on the front end, but in the end, Much Trouble. Kendrick Carmouche, Danny Gargan, too good.
We're talking earlier today on our pre-race show about River Knight being the best 1-for-57 horse in the country because he really tries hard every time, but somebody always gets and beat him. At the end of the day, the blinkers seem to help settle down Much Trouble. Kendrick got him to rate, which was the plan, and he's just too good for these.
Yeah, he sort of went in between, right, Andy? He was way, way back 2 starts ago. He was in front, sort of on the bridle. Today, where was he? About 4th or 5th, sitting in a perfect spot. And you're right? Much Trouble in the top of the lane. You're thinking, oh, maybe River Knight can win. And then you look down at his record and you see 1-for-57. You're like, oh, he's going to get past again.
I'll give you a horse to watch out of this race, the 12 Time Expired. You watch this race, it was essentially a merry-go-round race. Nobody closed. We saw them sort of keep pace the whole way. Time Expired is the one horse. He made a big, wide, sweeping move on the turn before sort of flattening out late. Take a look at that horse in a very different spot next time out. I bet he runs okay. He was 100-1 today.
And don't you dare complain about getting no value on this card. 3-5 over 26-1, 20-1, and 50-1. Plenty of opportunities to create value underneath.
Well, Andy gave you the 1. We knew the 11 would go to the front end, River Knight, and Kendrick just played it smart. And the 1 probably should have ran second in the spot, but
why couldn't I just got a prop bet? The 1 Risky Sour was 20-1,
right?
and the 3 Phone Funky was 5-2. I got to get about it. I'd have taken plenty of 5-1 on that prop bet. And I think, listen, I didn't make money Risky Sour. I didn't have the try. He could have run second. Maybe a little bit more sense of urgency with him a little earlier. Maybe not. But still, that's value, and it's ridiculous that this horse was 6-8 times the price of that horse.
And if you like the 6, what's the problem of putting the 1 underneath and tries, with alls and throwing the 3 out? You could probably cash a nice little ticket.
Danny Gargan winning trainer picture time for these connections with Midwest Thoroughbreds, and That young man, again, having a tremendous meet, Kendrick Carmouche. 6-11-1-9 finish. Let's head back to Churchill Downs. And Jonathan Kinchen as we get set for their nightcap, the 10th maiden special weight at 7 furlongs in Louisville.
Maiden special weight at 7 furlongs and a very tough maiden special weight at 7 furlongs at that. 7-2, I think, is what the board is showing right now on the favorite. That kind of lets you know that no one really knows where to go here. So look, if you like a long shot in this spot, play the horse, right? I can't give you anything better than the 4 horses that I'm using, and I'm going to hope that something better happens there. Like I mentioned in the paddock, I like the 8 Golden Notion based off of those previous races at Oaklawn Park. One of my favorite things to do is to look back and see what horses behind these maiden winners are doing so I can know how good that race actually was, because it's hard to know. With these horses that are so lightly raced, you got to try to get as many clues as possible. Mentioned the 10 Jerusalem, 9-1 on the board for Windstar Farm. Obviously a well-bred horse, sold for $700,000. Queen's Mason, the 11, is another one. I love the outside draw. Taking some money, 5-1, a little bit sneaky when you're looking at this kind of spread out board. Had a fast figure last time. I love the outside draw for young horses. They don't have to have the dirt kicked back into their face. They'll be out there in the clear. We've talked about how the middle of the track has been much better than it has throughout this week here at Churchill Downs. So I think Queen's Mason could find himself in the right spot. He was off a 224-day layoff last time, so you got to think that there's going to be a little bit of an improvement here. Young Phillip is another one I'll give you as the favorite right here. I don't love 7-2 on this horse in this field, but he was bet last time to 6-5 off a layoff as a shipper, and that's pretty encouraging. I think that the public and the word was out on that horse last time. Maybe he needed that one, and he'll run better in this one. I'm going to stay locked in with the 8 Golden Notion as my top pick. And if that doesn't go good, I hope the 9, 10, or 11 run. Guys, back to you.
Jonathan, thanks. As you take a look at our analyst selections, the 9, who is the favorite right now, Young Phillip. So he finished ahead of a horse named He's Stylish. All he did in his debut was run second to McKinsey, who we're going to see in the Met Mile next Saturday.
Yeah, there's some horses in here. This is going to be a key little race. I know my circle is around the 10 Jerusalem, the first time started, not getting bet. I'll tell you what, the one passion play is a horse that can cut back in distance, could be tough. The 6 in here.
What about the 6, Hometown Salute?
Oh,
I like him.
Yeah, that horse I thought should have got sent and sort of rated.
Here's one.
Pair is a nice horse.
How about the 5 Job Security who ran the turf first time out, despite the fact that he's just got a giant dirt pedigree? Now, maybe around the turf he can't show it, just shows him nothing in the morning, or maybe uses a prep race. There's more going on in this race than just about any race I've seen in a while.
4 horse I mentioned to you guys off here. I love this start from Masai Man. He's 12-1 right now. So he faced Everfast, who, of course, was second in the Holy Bull, most recently the Preakness, completely lost all chance out of the gate. He reared up in the air. He was blocked behind horses into the stretch, and then he finally started to pick off horses and make some run. And the horse who was second in there actually ran right behind Nick's Go in his debut race in the maiden special.
That was the good Nick's Go.
When Nick's Go was very good early in his career.
Listen, there are so many horses in this race that can win, and you see the favorite is 7-2, probably win anyway because it's a wide open race.
Right.
But but really, I mean, you like big fields with favorites in the 4-1 range. Those are good betting opportunities.
Yeah, when you have a main special weight where 4 or 5 of these horses have run figures in the 80s, gosh, it's a pretty good maiden special weight.
Golden Notion, the 8 horse, he's faced some good ones as well. Jonathan mentioned it also, but the horse who he ran against named Pyron started 2 for 2 in his career. Just ran 4th in the Chick Lang behind Lexitonian.
We won't hold that too much against him, but
you're not a Lexitonian fan.
I don't like him in the Woody Stevens this weekend, Greg. But don't let me stop you from betting him.
Wide open race here to close things out at Churchill Downs. Travis Stone with the call. Here's race 10 from Churchill.
Waiting for Hometown Salute and Made in America. They're in the gate. And they're off. Young Philip with a good start. Queen's Mason is also there. Those two fastest out of the gate. Make Room tries to muscle up on through and a bit awkward there as they cross onto the main track. Here comes Golden Notion up to be 4th on the outside. Passion Play 5th. Super Comet 6th. Made in America's running in 7th. Hometown Salute moving up into 8th. Messiah Man is racing 9th. Jerusalem is 10th, followed by My Legacy at 11th, and 4 lengths back to the early trailer, Job Security. Down the backstretch, and it is Queen's Mason with a narrow lead over Young Philip. They share it together. Golden Notion not far behind, 3 wide past the half-mile pole. Super Comet is 4 wide onto the far turn run. The quarter in 22 and 4/5 seconds. Passion Play saving all sorts of ground, 5th and toward the rail. Then it's Make Room, followed by Hometown Salute. Farther back in the field, Jerusalem has to get going now with Made in America. So around the far turn, Young Philip down inside with plenty of company, though. Queen's Mason is right there, too. Super Comet on the far outside and Golden Ocean in between. 4 of them off the turn into the stretch together. Down inside, it's Young Philip. Super Comet on the far outside running a big race. Golden Ocean fights on as well with Queen's Mason. 1 furlong to go. Super Comet takes over, and Super Comet rips away from the pack. Suddenly in front by 4. Leaving Young Philip behind in 2nd. Super Comet. Impressive win. Glides under the wire to win by 4. Young Philip was 2nd. Then it was either Golden Notion, Queen's Mason, or late running Job Security.
First time out, son of Kentucky Derby winner, Super Saver for Mark Cassie. Sean Bridgman, owned by John Oxley.
Wow, much the best here with Sean Bridgman aboard. And, 4 horses across the racetrack. And this usually doesn't happen. Some of these horses will tire, but the 7 just decides with left-handed urging just to blow this field away and take off. And this horse was taking money a little bit early and then ended up going off at 9-1. It looked like your 9 horse ended up running 2nd there, Young Philip. Look for the 5 in the center of the racetrack, Job Security. He come rolling late, but he didn't get any placing, but maybe next time. And the 10, Jerusalem, the pricey first-time starter, got left in the gate.
Back at Belmont Park, prices in much trouble. Short price winner, $3.50, and breaks through 3rd time on the turf for Danny Gargan. Kendrick Carmouche and Midwest Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, into mischief out of the Empire Maker Mare, Lake Nefasha, like you said, for Midwest. Blinkers on, maybe got the job done. 2 for 9 lifetime.
Race 9, our feature race at Belmont Park today. 6.5 furlongs coming up. An allowance optional claiming field. Posse Needed opening is the favorite for trainer Mark Hennig, but Bluegrass Jamboree probably the horse to beat for Charlie Baker.
You'll see those odds change a lot by post.
We'll talk much more about this 9th at Belmont when we come back here on America's Day at the Races. Stay tuned. We'll also talk the Test of the Champion. Tacitus back to work this morning for the Hall of Famer and Kentucky Derby winning trainer, Bill Mott. Many think this is the horse to beat next Saturday.
Practical Joke was all business. He won the home.
Practical Joke always showed a lot of ability. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of determination. Right from the first breeze, he identified himself as one of the best in his crop.
Practical Joke down to the wire, the Champagne.
Practical Joke took both the Hopeful and the Champagne Stakes. And he's a fast, tough, precocious 2-year-old, trained on, showed even better form at 3.
It is Practical Joke in the Allen Jerkins.
He's going to be a horse that no commercial breeder can leave off their list.
This one is by Tappet and is a brilliant Grade 1 winner.
Elliott, of course you're talking about Constitution. He was a TD and Rising Star in his debut. He became an undefeated Grade 1 winner when he won the Florida Derby in his 3rd start. And in the Don Handicap as a 4-year-old, he ran a 111 Beyer speed figure, which is still the fastest Tappet around 2 turns.
And don't forget about his allowance race. When he beat Wicked Strong and Tunnelist, his first 2-year-olds have every right to be fast.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Allocation, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And it's Warriors charge off the turn in front. Another twist of fate. Here is War of Will. And he got through an opening on the inside of the gate pole. Owendale is storming down the center of the track. But it's War of Will coming down to the 16th pole in front. In front by 2 lengths late. A late charge from Longshot Everfast to the inside 2. But nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness.
Breakthrough win, the first in the Triple Crown Series for trainer Mark Casse. Tyler Gaffleone, the young jockey, as well. Oh, the thrill of winning the Preakness. And now on to the test of the champion. He left Keeneland War of Will at 2:30 this afternoon on his way to Elmont, New York.
He's looked good so far, and we'll see what happens. I love that Mark Casse's going to battle all 3, and he's going to be a handful. I think he's going to be tough. He's obviously not going to pick him, and I think he can get beat, but he's still going to be the horse to beat.
He's getting it at 3 a.m., Greg. You want to meet me over there?
I would do that, actually. I'm not kidding.
You'll be right near. Do I want to?
I'm in.
Is he coming to the Upper West Side? If they're keeping him in Central Park, I'll meet you over there.
Who's bringing the picnic blanket?
Does he get the security detail like the Justifying American Pharaoh
He turned it down. He's not that kind of horse.
Here's a look at who's going to line up against him in the Belmont Stakes presented by NYRA Bets. And he's going to have plenty of competition. He is the only horse, however, who have competed in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. Of course, Tacitus sat out the Preakness, comes in fresh. And a lot of people believe this is the horse to beat come Saturday.
If by some miracle Tacitus doesn't win the Belmont, I hope War of Will wins. But Tacitus,
you think it's that much of a lock?
I don't, you don't like to be that about horse races, and it's a 1.5 mile race. I love this horse. I honestly feel like he pretty much, I will be extremely surprised if he doesn't win. I think he's the best horse in the race. I think the distance will be no problem. I believe in Bill Mott. I think he's getting better with every race. I just love this horse. How can he possibly win now?
I think the best horse in the race is War of Will.
He's
and
looking at
he
you.
was early on, too, before that Louisiana Derby, things went amiss for
Listen,
him.
I have been wrong about War of Will his entire career, so don't listen to me.
It's pretty good work, though.
It is.
It looked like he was looking in the stands for a tiny bit, and the other rider was looking around. But the way he's striding now, and it's going to be a tough task for War of Will, first of all, without
running in all 3 legs.
Running in all 3 legs. But this horse might have ran a better Derby than War of Will. We still don't know what happened, but he ran a pretty good Derby too.
Yeah, I do think he's the better horse ultimately, but I'm going to tell you something. I would love to see War of Will win this race because I think Mark Casse should be applauded for the fact that he runs his horses. He's run this horse in every race. He didn't whine after the Derby. He just ran and he got the money, and I love that, and I'll be very happy to see War of Will win the race. I just prefer Tacitus.
Do they let you win this race if you're not a son of Tappet?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah, only if you're going to Triple Crown.
$10,000 buy-in, $60,000 guaranteed first place prize. You can play online this year as well with NYRA Bets. Go to NYRA.com/challenge to get signed up, registered, and to play along. We have our feature race coming up at Belmont 6.5 furlong allowance optional claiming field. Bluegrass Jamboree back to a fast track after that brilliant 2019 debut. Let's head downstairs for a Paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg, and want to check in with her, the filly you were just talking about, number 5, Bluegrass Jamboree, as last time she was coming back off a little bit of a layoff for Charlie Baker. Now, her in the face of Cigarro Row. Cigarro Row just looked like a absolute beast in the paddock, and I was kind of comparing them physically, and there was no doubt in my mind that she would have Bluegrass Jamboree beaten. But Bluegrass Jamboree comes back looking better to me. I don't know if it's relative to her competition this time around, but it just appears too that she's gotten a little bit stronger, put on a little more muscle mass. Her coat, I mean, she is dappled head to toe. She just looks better to me than what she did last time, and as you mentioned, Greg, she gets a fast track this time around. Also, getting a fast track is another horse coming out of that same race, and number 1, Mo Flash. She might not class up to these. I totally get it. And by the way, she's going to go out last and immediately make a right turn, so she will not be leading the post parade here of this 6-horse field, as this is the best I've ever seen this filly. Look, she's not one that presents herself as a good doer. She doesn't carry her flesh that well. But today, I don't know why for Eddie Barker, she just looks as though she's doing better than what she has in the past. We'll see. I like what I'm seeing from her, as you know, the pace is a little bit a little bit on the murkier side. I was just talking to Kieran McLaughlin, trainer of number 4, Take Charge Morella, and he said, well, do you think I can make the lead? And I said, maybe, but Take Charge Morella is definitely the sharpest filly in here. She came in just bulling her way as she has the pony in front of her. She'd gladly run the pony over if her groom would let her. And she's in good form right now. She is riding a 2-race win streak into this one. Obviously, maybe the waters get a little bit deeper this time around, but she's certainly not impossible. Here, Greg.
All right, we're going to take a break in the action. What a meet that man has had. Jose Lezcano, leading rider at this meet. Belmont Park, he'll be aboard Bluegrass Jamboree. Likely will go off the favorite by the time we get to post time. We'll be back with our feature from Belmont next.
So my name is Robbie Hertzel. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This successful son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, Altitude Network, and other regional networks across the country. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday afternoon. You can get signed up, started, and play along at NYRA Bets. Use the promo code BET25, $200 new member bonus, and a $25 Belmont Derby bet. If you run second or third, you get your money back on Belmont Stakes race as we take a look at our field for race 9. Here's On Her Way at 5-1, Jose Ortiz, Linda Rice.
I'm tiny bit confused why this horse is 5-1, but I think she'll end up coming down here in a little bit.
Posse needed, Mark Hennig, John Velasquez.
Will she get enough pace to run at? We'll find out. I thought she was a legitimate upsetter but she's taking a lot of money.
I thought this one intriguing. Trying to win 3 in a row for Kieran McLaughlin. Take Charge Morella.
Yeah, this one for Big Dom Racing Stable, and you got to love the emblem on the back of the jock, a pizza emblem.
Finished ahead of Lady Apple, who was third in the Kentucky Oaks in her first out effort as we take a look at the 5, Bluegrass Jamboree.
She's the worst to beat. She'll be the favorite by post time in here. I have no knock on her. She's just okay.
25-1, Tanya's Gem, outsider. Turf to dirt.
Yeah, outsider. And one thing you could say with Tanya's Gem, best 2 races here at Belmont. So maybe throw in 3rd or 4th you're playing.
And we saw Mo Flash real quick there. Joel Rosario aboard.
He got drowned by 2 horses in this race last time. Not sure why today's supposed to be different.
Standing by with a trainer of Mo Flash. Let's go to Maggie.
Yes, please be joined here by Eddie Barker. And Eddie, we actually saw her come out last day. Sweetheart, as you said, a little bit quirky when it comes to race day.
Well, she's, for some reason or another, deathly afraid of the pony, and we've learned over the time just to let her go out on the track and go the wrong way, go the right way, and don't be bothered with the pony or all the stuff that goes with it, you know.
Yeah. And looks like Joelle handled her quite nicely. And I know you are running against the time as most people are, as we see actually the rain rolling in from the west here, but you finally get a fast track.
That's what we've been looking for the last 4 or 5 races, because she, she handles it off track, but she runs the very best races on the dry track.
Eddie, I know you're a bettor. We always talk about this. We alive to the pick 6 here.
I'm alive with the pick 5.
with your horse.
Single Woodall.
I love it. All right, Eddie, best of luck.
Good. Thank you very much for the time.
All right, he's always fun to catch up with, Eddie Barker. He's not shy about giving some handicapping tips either.
All right, 7:01 right now. Mo Flash. Can Mo Flash get it done for him here in the Pick 5? Daughter Uncle Mo.
I would think they got to go, right, Andy? From the get?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of pace. And any of the 1, 4, and 6 could all be forwardly placed, I suppose. I imagine Bluegrass Jamboree won't be far behind. Hard to know how this race is going to be run. I just don't know why you would think that Mo Flash, unless you just think getting back to a fast track is going to help. But she's handled wet tracks before. I don't like her here.
Meanwhile, Bluegrass Jamboree, she gets back to a fast track for the first time since that sensational effort. 95 Buyer, won by 8 1/4 lengths in her 5-year-old debut. That was over at Aqueduct, and she has not caught a fast track since. She gets one today, and she should be close at least.
The problem with it is what Andy said earlier. It's 16 points faster on a fast track than she's ever ran, that 95 Buyer. So you're wondering, is it just that one race where she exploded?
Right.
Because all the rest of the races,
they're all the same. Fast and dry and wet track races are all the same, basically. That was one aberrant effort, and she was like a rocket ship that day. She runs that race, she'll win this race in a common gallop. But every one of her other races is just good enough to win, but not super special.
Philly, who beat her last time, actually ran to the Fairgrounds Oaks back as a 3-year-old. She's 2 for 2 this year, coming back as a 4-year-old, so she has some talent.
No, and she's running in the stake here this weekend, biting off maybe a little more. She could chew, but they're taking a shot. She also got left that day, and she still ran her down. And I'll be honest, I thought On Her Way it was a nose behind her, probably should have beaten her as well.
Sounds like you're not a fan.
No, she can win. I'm not against her per se. All of a sudden, why did the 4 just go to 9? Hey, Charge Morella's 9 to 5.
Maybe
really?
they're thinking the 4 is going to go to the front end. I guess. I mean, I know 1 for 1 here at Belmont.
She just beat Regal Retort. Regal Retort might be 20 to 1 in this field.
Yeah, she's got to improve.
Brass Ring. This is maybe she's the now horse. I know people like horses off wins, and maybe she's improving for Kieran.
The 2's a ridiculous
maybe
price.
The money's meaningful. The 2 is an absurd price at 5 to 1. I could not agree more with you, Paul. She's the horse that's getting lost. And to be honest with you, I thought my horse would be 5 to 1, and she'd be 5 to 2, and that's why I picked the 3 Posse needed. But you're right, the value is the 2 On Her Way.
I don't get it.
Maybe they know, and we don't.
Seems like it's been that way last couple.
The one we expected to be favored is now the favorite, and that is Bluegrass Jamboree. So the 5-year-old mare looking to collect her 2nd victory of the year, but that performance 3 back on that fast track, that was something she had never come close to producing before. Maybe reacted to that performance. It's gone backwards a little bit since, or it's been the off tracks the last 2 tries. We'll find out shortly, or maybe we won't.
Yeah, right.
9 to 5, Bluegrass Jamboree with Jose Lezcano. Send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
And here's Take Charge Morella. Moving into the starting gate, Bluegrass Jamboree. 9 to 5 odds right now moving in. And 1 left to load, that's Tanya's Gem. Bluegrass Jamboree now down to 6 to 5, and they're all in line. They're off. And Bluegrass Jamboree goes immediately to the front from Take Charge Morella, and Tanya's Gem on the outside, who's keen and headstrong and up into 2nd now. After that, it's On Her Way in 3rd, followed by the trailers, Mo Flash and Posse Needed. There goes Tanya's Gem to take over. Tanya's Gem opens up a length and a half, getting away from Bluegrass Jamboree, who will sit 2nd. And then it's Take Charge Morella 3rd on the outside as they move through a 23.39 opening quarter mile. On Her Way is 4th at the half-mile pole and 4 from the front. A break of another 2 back to Mo Flash and Posse Needed. Tanya's Gem, a 52 to 1 long shot's been left out there on a 2.5 length lead. With Bluegrass Jamboree her closest pursuer. Take Charge Morella's coming under pressure while Bluegrass Jamboree is still going well in hand. On the inside, On Her Way is beginning to pick up her stride too. 46.67 the half. Tanya's Gem turning for home, still in front by 2. Bluegrass Jamboree under a very confident Jose Lezcano. Now edging up alongside. On Her Way is stuck behind them. Needs a place to go. She's going to swing outside and try to run down the new leader, Bluegrass Jamboree. Here comes On Her Way. Bluegrass Jamboree On Her Way. They're down to the wire. It's On Her Way. On her way to the winner's circle. Bluegrass Jamboree was 2nd. Tanya's Gem was 3rd. Close 4th. Posse Needed her Mo Flash.
On her way up in time, Jose Ortiz, Linda Rice getting by Bluegrass Jamboree for the win.
I didn't even bet this horse. How could you not root for this horse?
Yeah.
Because she was so clearly going to win this race and got jammed up inside, and it was a good ride by Jose Lozcano because he kept Jose Ortiz in that pocket as long as he could. There's only so long he could keep her in there, but On Her Way was best.
You know, the thing that happened here, Andy, you can see he keeps looking in. He's trying to keep him locked in. But he couldn't put away the 6, Tanya's Gem, immediately. You know, Tanya's Gem sort of stung her a tiny bit, and now when the 2 came off cover On Her Way, man, Jose Ortiz went strong with that left hand. He went by, and he loved every part of that win because Lozcano was playing poker with them. He kept looking, knowing that Ortiz had horse. And like Andy said, he tried to keep him locked in as long as you can. He needed Tanya's Gem to engage On Our Way for a little bit longer, Bluegrass Jamboree for a little bit longer, you know what I mean? But just didn't happen. What a ride. What a ride to be that patient.
When finally gets room, opens up, has to shift outside. And plenty in the tank as you see Jose going to that left-handed stick. Shakes the reins a little. And then she is home free, 7-2 on her way, and still was cold on the board.
Look at, he looks twice.
She got bet a little late. Well, you know, Jose, I really think he was, what we were saying right there, he was trying to keep Jose Ortiz locked in. To be honest with you, as it turned out, he probably should have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah, right? I mean, like you're right. Like, how much... you know, Andy, it's so tough. He probably thought he pulled the trigger at the right time and had the horse locked in. Yeah.
The reality is he rode the second best horse. So,
yeah, that's
you know,
true
anybody,
too,
I think criticizing Jose, not that you were, but anybody criticizing him would be foolish.
Yeah.
Because the reality was he was just trying to get home on even money or not, second best horse.
Yeah.
7-2 in the end on Her Way. We'll have these prices coming up in a moment. Jose Ortiz, Linda Rice, 2-1 on the morning line and goes off at 7-2 in this spot.
Wow.
2-5-6-3 finish. By the way, that 52-1 shot who zipped up to the front, tried to steal this thing, does hang on for third, Tanya's Gem. Back at Churchill, Super Comet, first time out, wins for Mark Cassidy, the son of Super Saver.
This was a very flashy win. Super Saver of Sky Mason Mare, homebred for Mr. Oxley, Sean Bridgman. We talked about this before. Mr. Cassidy wins the Preakness. He seems like he hasn't lost a race since.
I
Andy?
agree, and I tell you something, if somebody told me that a first-time starter was going to win that tough race by 5 lengths, right. I would never have believed it.
Well, he's not having a great Churchill meet, but maybe this will get him going there a little bit like he needs it, and he's doing pretty well everywhere else.
Doing really well at Pimlico.
Prices back at Belmont when we return. On Her Way, Linda Rice, victory number 7 in this 5-year-old mare's career. Daughter of Caleb's Posse. We'll be back with prices right after this.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $25 Belmont win bet and a $200 new member bonus with promo code BET25.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the Best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, go to americasbestracing.net today. Our feature at Belmont on her way. Jose Lezcano on the 5. Bluegrass Jamboree trying to pin in the 2 on her way and give that mare nowhere to go, and then finally says, I got to take off.
Yeah, a friend of mine said to me, what was Jose Lezcano trying to do? And I said he was trying to keep the 2 locked in. And he said, but he didn't. I said, I didn't say he did it successfully.
Yeah, he tried.
Well, at some point, you got to go, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to pick on him. He rode the second best horse, and not even that close, I think, at that.
Yeah, he needed the 6, Tanya's Gem, to keep on going, to keep Jose blocked as long as he could. He just went by Tanya's Gem too quickly enough. I don't even know if that makes any sense for on her way to get out. But congratulations, $9.70 is an incredible price. Aaron, you go to, congratulations to him, Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz. Caleb's Posse have a Yes It's True mare, pick 5, follow along, 94,000. And okay, the payoffs are not bad.
You're alive to who? You're still alive in this
last race. Yeah, but I'm alive to the single 6 in a tough race. And I'm surprised.
You gave it a good run.
Thank you. I'm surprised that I'm
saying
favorite.
You're not going to win here.
I picked the 6.
Oh, thanks.
I picked the 6 in this race. Why can't you? I've been hot.
Did you think we'd be favored, Andy?
You know what? This is a very hard race.
This is a difficult race because Daddy knows I thought would take money, but not really.
Was he favored?
But he was favored in the doubles though.
Now this 11. Did everyone forget the also eligibles in here? 6-1 right now on Uncle Curly.
Yeah, I know.
You can watch this finale, by the way, on the NYRA Bets app or at nyrabets.com. We're going to be signing off here in a moment or so. We got a bunch of networks with us. Going to remind everyone when we come back. Fox Sports 2. Our next show is Thursday. We're on from 3 to 8:30 on Fox Sports 2. MSG Plus, we're on 4:30 to 7 on Thursday. Fox Sports Prime Ticket in San Diego, we're on 4 to 6:30 on Thursday. It is Belmont Stakes week next week. We're so excited. Tremendous card of everything coming up. What's going on?
I'm looking at Friday's card right now. It's
Okay.
the True North is unbelievable. A 10-horse field, and we've got that 2-day pick 6 as well. The True North, the Belmont Gold Cup, 2 on Friday and 4 on Saturday. The Woody Stevens, the Met Mile, the Manhattan, and the Belmont Stakes. 20-cent bet, 15% takeout. Be a fun bet. I mean, this is going to be as good a week of racing as we're going to have all year.
And the draw is at Citi Field.
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Come to Citi Field and come up and say hi, and maybe I'll take you down on the field. How about that?
Thunder and lightning.
If you're a NYRA
By the way, if they arrest
holder,
Paul while you're with him, run fast if you see the cops coming.
If you show me your NYRA Bets app, I will take you on the field if you come to the draw. How about that?
Really?
Why not?
I have nothing.
I used to play on the field.
I have nothing to do with this.
I'm sure I can get you on. I'm sure I can get you on the field. But if you're a NYRA Bets holder and you show me that, we're going to get you on Citi Field.
There
you show me if you have a NYRA Bets holder, you show it to me. I'm going to give you Paul's cell number.
Tacitus was back on the track working this morning. Very likely going to be the favorite on Saturday.
What do you think, Andy? 2-1? 5-2?
Yeah, somewhere in
what's
that
War
range.
of Will? 5-2, about the same?
You know, somebody made a very good point to me. He said that War of Will be favored in the race and Tacitus will be favored in the multi-race bets.
Probably. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because the Triple Crown winners always seem to take a lot of money. But, you know, it's a big field. It can't be that short. I think he should be 2-5, but what do I know?
Seriously.
I'm exaggerating.
I'm
exaggerating.
But no, honestly, what would you take? I mean, I know you're going to bet this horse anyway.
At 2-1, and I'm betting him at 2-1.
You're betting him at 2-1, which is
Belmont
actually value
trying
for him.
to win 2/3 of this year's Triple Crown. Of course, he won with Country House, put up via disqualification. We've seen a lot of crazy things happen this Triple Crown. What is in store next Saturday? That is the field that will line up against him. Some intrigue with a lot of runners in there that we're intrigued about, including the Japanese horse, Master Fencer, coming back, who was gobbling up all that ground late in the Kentucky Derby.
Hopefully everything's okay with him. His last work, he stumbled a little bit, but he's coming out of that work so far so good. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. To me, it looks like a 2-horse race on paper, but that's when they fool you.
We will see you next Thursday. War of Will on his way as we speak to Elmont, New York. It was with dignity. Oh, a talented 3-year-old filly for Ian Wilkes. Getting the job done out of Churchill, winning on the stretch out and on her way. Jose Ortiz and Linda Rice taking the feature at Belmont. We'll see you on Thursday.